I'm a sucker for the underserved. But when you hear the minority group that I defend and advocate for, you'll probably roll your eyes and mutter to yourself, yeah, right, I wish I had that problem. You see, I'm an advocate for inheritors, people who've inherited tens of millions of dollars. Look at these three. What if I told you each of them inherited over $50 million before their 30th birthday? Would you see them differently? Would that change your mind about who they were? If you were to meet them in person knowing they were wealthy, would you be different in your interaction with them? Well, actually, these are stock photos, but I did make you think. It's common to have stereotypes and judgments about others. We all do. And I wouldn't be surprised if you have stereotypes and judgments about each of these people. What are their stories? How would you pigeonhole them? Of course, this must be a group of highly intelligent and interesting people. Just about everybody deserves an advocate, and most minority groups get support. Inheritors don't. While you'd never tease an unemployed person and call them a welfare queen, inheritors are often called trustafarians, members of the lucky sperm club, the born retired, and trust fund babies with a terminal case of affluenza. If it's known that they have inherited wealth, they're often greeted by people who have a hostile envy towards them. And that hostility can be amplified if they have a famous last name. Just seems so unfair. They didn't do anything to be in their position, and others have such harsh judgments about them. It's no wonder they want to hide. It's no wonder they want to be anonymous. It's no wonder some are embarrassed and ashamed about having money they didn't earn themselves. Every once in a while, we do a workshop, and to come to that workshop, the participants must have inherited enough money that paid work doesn't make a difference in their life. And it's a safe place where they can just be who they are and explore their relationship with their wealth and not worry about who's going to like them because they have money or who's going to dislike them because they have money. And every once in a while, we'll do an exercise to purposefully stereotype rich people and poor people. And this is what one of the groups came up with. Of course, you know, all poor people eat pizza, drink beer, go bowling, and watch TV during their spare time. Whereas rich people eat lobster, drink champagne, and play polo, and do spa treatments during their spare time. But at this group, the ones that came up with this very list, not one had ever played polo, and 2 were on a bowling league. At another workshop, we did the same exercise, and these are the stereotypes they came up with. So you see, even rich people have stereotypes about rich people. I believe 3 traits go hand in hand with being a minority. They have to have an unusual circumstance over which they have no control, and it has to set them apart from others. Whether that's being born with a physical disability or a ethnic minority or homosexuality, or they're old, or they're an inheritor. And powerlessness is being in a position where they can't control an outcome. I know some inheritors who couldn't even give their money away if they wanted to because it's tied up in trust, or they own shares of a family limited partnership or family operating business, and those shares can't be sold. When someone's 25 years old, when they inherit a lot of money, they're likely to be very lonely. There's a weirdness that goes hand in hand with being young and wealthy, and it leads to just a lot of awkward situations like, how can they tell if the person they're dating is attracted to them or their money? Or how can they have a fair prenuptial agreement? Or if their family philanthropic organization is giving money away to causes they don't believe in, what should they do? And if they're going out to dinner with friends, are they expected to pay? And what should they do if a friend asks for a loan? Or what if their life partner can't make equal contributions to the family household expenses? Should they ratchet down their lifestyle so they can both contribute equally? Or should their partner become a dependent? And what if their partner has a real job? Should they travel alone? These are some of the many dilemmas inheritors experience. This lady, as you can see, is all about function over form. And she's not unlike an heiress who had a real-life experience you can probably all relate to. She was dressed similarly to this, and she decided to go car shopping, and it happened to be at a Mercedes dealership. And the salesman, and yeah, they were all men, noticed her appearance and made a snap judgment that she couldn't afford the cars she was looking at. Where most of us can't avoid that showroom sales bombardment, no one even approached her. She knocked on one of their glass office doors, and he responded with, "Have you been pre-approved for a loan?" She walked out. She hired a car broker, and she paid $120,000 outright for a Mercedes. Although, she did split it up among several credit cards so she could get the miles. Anyway, a few months later, it was time to take the car in for its first scheduled maintenance, and she made a point of slowly driving around the front of the dealership before taking it to the back service department. I don't know if any of the salesmen saw her, but if they did, hopefully, they learned how much their judgment cost them. Now, I'd like to ask you, how much might your own judgments be costing you? How often are you confusing someone's circumstance for their humanity? I hope you can catch yourself every once in a while when you're stuck in a judgment and stop, breathe deep, and respond with an act of warmth, kindness, and compassion. I think you'll find a growing wealth will develop within you.